It's another week and yet another 7-round Steelers mock draft from me, your host, Jack Sperry, here on Steelers Talk. Before we get into the content today, before I break down my latest 6 picks in the 7 rounds of the 2025 NFL Draft for your Pittsburgh Steelers, if you want another mock draft next week, we got to get to 500 likes on today's video. So if you love these mock drafts, you like them every single week, and you want to see more of them, click that thumbs up icon right now. And without further ado, let's get into it. So my rule is, if you've been watching this series throughout the offseason here, is I don't want to repeat players from previous mocks, all right? So all 5 of my previous mock drafts have players that you will not see on today's mock. So if you guys want to check out some of the other mock draft videos we have done on this channel, if there's a player that you really want the Steelers to take that I don't take in this mock draft, I probably took him in a previous one. So make sure you guys go check that out. And then also today, no trades. Last week I traded down. 2 weeks ago, I traded for Joe Milton, who, of course, is a Cowboy now. But today, no trades, just straight up 6 picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'll start with round 1, pick 21. And I'm going to take Omarion Hampton, running back out of UNC. Now, is Hampton even going to be here at 21? I don't know. I think he could go as high as 10 to the Chicago Bears, especially if Ashton Jeanty goes to the Raiders at 6. But Hampton is somebody that I have fallen in love with as a prospect. I think he's a bona fide stud at the position. And out of this class that has a lot of good running backs, I think there's 2 guys that give you a really good chance to be stars right away in the league. It's Ashton Jeanty and then Omarion Hampton. So well built. He's got great size. He's got good long speed, acceleration. He's got some of the smoothest feet that you will see from anybody's tape in this year's class. And this is a phenomenal draft class, guys. Now, I think that he is certainly somebody that is worth a first-round selection. And I would say don't sleep on the Pittsburgh Steelers taking a running back in round 1, especially if they have a chance to get Ashton Jeanty or Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. I would fully expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to be looking to potentially get one of these guys because, plain and simply, Pittsburgh wants their offense to be run through the run game. They want to have a dominant run game that even if the defense knows they're running it, and even if they're stacking the box, that they can still have success running the football. There's only a few teams in the league that are capable of doing that. Philadelphia Eagles are certainly one of them. When the Niners are going good with Christian McCaffrey, they can certainly do it. Derrick Henry with the Baltimore Ravens, and of course Lamar Jackson supplementing him. There's only a select few run games in the league that can enforce their will on the ground the way the Steelers want to, and you need to have a superstar running back in order to make that happen, guys. I do think that, the Steelers if they have an opportunity to get a true stud at the position, they should take it, especially if they do want this offense to be run through the run game. But I will say it needs to be a true stud at the position, all right? You have to have a true first-round grade on the running back that you take in round 1 because this draft class is so deep that if you're looking for a mid-round level caliber guy, you could easily get one on day 3. So I'm not going to be taking Quinshon Judkins or Cam Scatabo or any of these guys that I think should go on day 2 when I think these 2 are the only 2 guys that are worth a first-round selection. But if Jeanty or Hampton is there, I think that may be the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers because running back is such an important position for them to fill, to find Jalen Warren a running mate for the next several seasons in this backfield and hopefully create one of the best run games in the National Football League. I think Jeanty, Hampton are the 2 guys that are capable of making that happen from day 1 as a round 1 pick. So if Hampton is there, I am pulling the trigger. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Would you be happy if the Pittsburgh Steelers took Omarion Hampton in round 1 at pick number 21? Give me yes or no down there in the comments section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or a no down there in the comments. Here in round 3, I'm going to take Notre Dame safety / slot defender Xavier Watts, team captain for the Fighting Irish last year in their pursuit of a national championship. Of course, they fell just short to the Ohio State Buckeyes. But I think the reason why I decided to take Watts in the 3rd round in this week's mock draft is because he didn't test the best, all right? He's not necessarily the fastest guy out there or the most explosive. His relative athletic score is just okay at 5.8. He ran a 4.58. Which isn't terrible, but it's certainly not elite either. So I think that Watts is the type of guy that can play strong safety if you need him to, and he can also play in the slot. He's really good in coverage, really good in man coverage specifically, but he also plays with good zone eyes. He's a great locker room presence, which I think Mike Tomlin is really going to love. He's He could be a future team captain for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deshaun Elliott is on the last year of his contract, so if you need somebody to play strong safety in the future, Watts has the size to do that. But I would be playing him at slot corner to start his career as kind of like a big nickel type of defender. I think he could be a real presence for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and because his testing numbers weren't phenomenal, I do think there's a chance that he ends up falling to the Steelers in round 3 at pick number 83. So if that happens, Mike Tomlin and all the Steelers brass were there at his pro day. I think that this is certainly someone that the Steelers have on their radar. And coming up here, I got my day 3 draft picks. All right, so some sleepers for you to keep your eye on for the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2025. But before we get into those, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the best place to get real money sports action all on your phone. This sports season, you can download the Prize Picks app for free on your phone right now and join over 10 million members and sign up today. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, and you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where every Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. To play, all you have to do is pick 2 to 6 player stat projections on the Prize Picks app. Go more than or less than, and if you get them right and if you know ball, you could be making some money with our friends at Prize Picks today. And it's a bevy of different sports. If you want stock car racing, if you want mixed martial arts, if you want baseball, if you want basketball, when football season comes around, you can certainly do that as well. They got it all on Prize Picks, so get in on the fun right now by downloading the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup when you download the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, run your game. So here in round 4, I'm going to take the future nose tackle of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's going to be C.J. West, defensive tackle out of Indiana, who's just a menace, man. He's an athletic freak, and he's a great run defender, and those are the things that I'm looking for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I also think he's got some quickness and athleticism that will allow him to potentially be the future replacement of Cam Hayward as the other true starting 3 technique in this defense. And you look at that 40-yard dash time, under 5 seconds for a nose tackle is very impressive, a 9.15 overall relative athletic score. I mean, this guy's quick, man, and he pairs that with really great functional strength, good technique against the run, keeps the pad level low, which I appreciate. And if he's available here at 123, there's going to be a good kind of defensive tackle type available at this spot, whether that's J.J. Pegues, whether that's C.J. West, whether that's somebody else. There's going to be a good player for the Steelers to take a defensive tackle at the beginning of day 3, in my opinion. For me, C.J. West is the pick. Round number 5 here, 156. I'm going to take Will Howard, quarterback out of Ohio State. And the Steelers have certainly shown some interest in the national championship Buckeye quarterback here. And, I think that he reminds Arthur Smith of Ryan Tannehill because he has a lot of the same qualities, and kind of like Tannehill, I think it's going to take Will Howard a couple years in the league to really get his feet wet and really be ready to be a starter. And then when he does become a starter, like Tannehill eventually became, if he becomes a starter, he's going to be like a mid-level guy that needs help around him. So he's got good size. He's got some athleticism to him. He can run. He's got a good NFL arm. He can throw the ball down the field with some nice touch. And he had a really strong finish to his season there at Ohio State. He got better as the season went on, which is a good sign. But his pocket presence is abysmal. He's got accuracy inconsistencies, mental processing. It was a lot of one read to check down or one read to run type of football there at Ohio State last year. And honestly, I don't love his situational awareness. He was throwing short of the sticks a lot last year at Ohio State. Now, maybe they were telling him to do that, and they were saying, hey, our defense is just so good, we don't have to worry about trying to throw these balls into super tight windows on third down. But, I think that this is somebody with some potential. And I think, because he's got the good NFL arm, he's got the size, he's got some mobility. Those are some traits that Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith are going to like in his profile. So if he's here in round 5, I'd be more than willing to take him as a kind of day 3 quarterback dart throw, especially if Aaron Rodgers is in the building, which I expect. Round 6 here, I'm going to take a wide receiver. That's going to be a really important piece to this Steelers offense, and Kobe Hudson as a true route runner, somebody that's going to get open early in the down, whether that's in the slot, whether that's outside as the Z. Kobe Hudson is somebody that doesn't have great speed, but he's got great route running technique and intelligence in terms of how the corner's trying to play him, and then he just wins all the time on film, man. And right now the consensus board is allowing me to take Kobe Hudson here in round 6, so I'm absolutely going to take that because he's probably a top 5, maybe borderline top 5 route runner in the entire class, and I'm getting him here in round 6, and this is a piece that the Steelers desperately need in their wide receiver room. You've already got downfield threats. I don't need him to be a blazing fast player. I need somebody that can get open to the short and intermediate levels of the field quickly. Kobe Hudson can do that. I think he's a perfect fit. Round 7, I'm going to take another defensive tackle here because, Cam Hayward's not getting any younger, and you got to continue to take dart throws at the position, and you always need rotational defensive linemen as well. Somebody the Steelers have shown a lot of interest in here, and Yaya Black, defensive tackle out of Iowa, who was brought in for a top 30 visit. They showed interest in him at the Combine as well, and he's a big body for sure. Not as athletic as C.J. West. He'd be more of a true nose tackle type than West would be, but he's certainly somebody that can sit in the middle of a defense, stop the run, do all those different things, and I think that's something the Steelers would find value in their round 7 pick. So let me know down there in the comments section. This is my mock 6.0, taking the future superstar running back of the future here in Pittsburgh and Amarian Hampton in round 1. Slot defender / future strong safety, Xavier Watts in round 3. C.J. West at the beginning of day 3. Will Howard, quarterback developmental type in round 5. Kobe Hudson, a really good wide receiver at a great value in round 6. And then Yaya Black, another run-stuffing defensive tackle in round 7. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F down there in the comments section. And that'll be it for this week's mailbag here on Steelers Talk. Thank you for once again joining me for this week's edition of the Steelers Talk Mock Draft. I will see you guys next time. And until then, guys, here we go, Steelers.